What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconerizonechannel Zone for another daily news video. It's a later one because I was busy. But we're gonna talk about a big news story, in my opinion, and some, extra info, transfer news. Before we get into it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel as always, hit that bell notification, and yeah, let's go. As you can see in the title and in the thumbnail, it's quite obvious where we're heading with this video, and it's Bonucci. Um, in one of my earlier videos, I think it was this week, or maybe the previous week, I mentioned the feeling around Bonucci's position within the club is not the same, or that was my personal feeling that he's not untouchable anymore. He gets benched quite a while, also in big games or like key games, not because of injuries and all those things. And it was, in my opinion, something that never happened before because usually with Allegri, he gets his place, or like just in general, like he plays. They push him forward to be the main guy, all those things, blah blah blah, the usual stuff. But he's not playing, in my opinion, because he's not performing well. And he hasn't been performing well for a very long time, in my opinion. It's not to the level where you're like, oh my God, he's not a football player anymore. But there are moments in games where you're like, oh boy, like that shouldn't be happening to a player of that caliber. Like the drop off is going fast, in my opinion. Like when Chiellini plays, and you look at Chiellini, even last year, you're like, oh my God, he's so good, but he's never fit, you know. With Bonucci, it is, that's not good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look solid anymore. It looks very shaky, and he has a good game once in a while, a very good game, but then the next few games are like, not good enough, making mistakes, not leading, in my opinion, all those things. And I think that's why he was being benched, not because of injuries. And I was kind of surprised that Allegri took that, step basically, or like that stand, because that's on Allegri like, in my opinion, or on Juve like, basically, just in general, no matter who the manager is. But Mirko Di Natale, who people know what I think about. Like he's not a bad source. Like usually he doesn't break news. That's the only thing I'm saying about it. But he said the end of Bonucci's contract following the automatically triggered renewal is 24. The player's desire is to stay, but Juve does not consider him untouchable and will be willing to listen to offers in the coming months. Now, if this is true, this is huge. Like this is big news because this is basically saying, or like the club is, if this is true, the club is basically saying you better find a new club, buddy. Like, if you're open to listen to offers, in my opinion, then it's the club's way to say like you can leave, like you can actually leave. Like otherwise, you're like, nah, we're not listening. We're not listening to offers. You're staying. But if the club is really open to this scenario, that's a huge thing. Like that's big in terms of where we're going as a club because I cannot do a poll under the comments, but let me know in the comments if I told you at the start of the season, next year, so summer of 23, the club will be like, Bonucci, you can leave. Who would have believed that? I think no one. Like I personally wouldn't. Would say that's crazy. They're not gonna say that. They're gonna keep him, and all those things. And you heard news a few months ago, a few weeks ago, let's say a few weeks ago, that he could sign a new deal to spread his wages. And I was like, oh boy, like that's not the way to go. Just write it out and let him go. Then at this point, like longer is not an option. But if the club is actually taking this stand, it's big, it's huge. It's, in my opinion, a big step forward for this club because yes, football is all about sentiments and all those things, being loyal and all those things. But you also need to know when it's done and when you need to move on, And we have been bad at and doing that in the last couple of years, in my opinion. We've been really bad at doing that. For me, it's a step forward because Bremer is coming to his own. You need to pair him with the next one up, and you need to build a new partnership for the coming 5 to 7 years, whatever. I don't think Gatti can be that. I think Gatti can be a very good squad player. I don't think he can be the main guy alongside Bremer. I don't know who at this point. It's still a very long time until the summer. But I think we need to move in that direction. You need to find the next pairing. We really do. You can talk about we lost Demiral, fair. We lost Romero, all those things. That's done. That's the past. You need to find the next one who you can pair with Bremer, in my opinion, because we need to build on something completely new. Uh, like a Quadrado, who's gonna leave? Good servant for the club, but it's done. Like time's up. Thanks for the years. It's time to move on. Talking about Quadrado, we're linked with Singo. He's on that list, which for me will be no brainer. Excuse me. It will be a good addition. I think he will fit in perfectly for what we are trying to do or trying to build. But like these are the steps we need to take as a club. Be kind of ruthless, and maybe that this is not even being ruthless because probably many in the comments will say this is a no-brainer. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer that you should be open to listen to offers for Bonucci because he's on almost 7 million euros. He's not playing as a 7 million euro player. Let's be completely honest. If he was on 2 million euros, I could be sitting here and be like, okay, like if he finishes his deal until 24, it's not the end of the world. But like it's 7 mil and he's not delivering. Like he's not giving you 7 mil a season player worthy performances. Like he's just not. But if it's true, it's big news. It means also that we are gonna invest quite a lot in the summer for a defender because we have no choice. You cannot replace Bonucci with a free agent. Not saying that Bonucci is one of the top players in his position at this moment in time, but like you cannot go into another season with a player who might or not might be good. Having Gatti, Danilo who's aging, and then Bremer. Like that's also not the solution. But let's see how that will develop. The next and the final thing I want to talk about is the man of the hour. It's Rabiot, who he's playing out of his mind. Like he is having the best form probably in his career at this moment in time. Like he is doing what we were asking him to do for many years now, scoring goals, being involved. Like yesterday, goal and assist. He was excellent against Australia. You might say Australia, but it is what it is. Like Germany in the second half were terrible against Japan. Argentina were poor against Saudi Arabia. So he did it. He showed up one more time, and yeah, like I don't know what to think about it. I will read what Nico Shira said. Excuse me. He said his contract with Juve expires in 23. He currently is on 7 mil plus 2 mil in bonuses, and his agent is asking for a new salary worth 10 million euros a season. 2 Premier League clubs have already shown interest in signing him as a free agent in July. Excuse me. He's gone. Like let's get that out of the way. The way he's playing, fair, nice, but that's not 10 mil. Like again, let's. He's on too much money now, so we can like. He's on too much money now, so now that he's performing well, excuse me, it's easy to think like, oh, but like he's on 7. Yeah, of course he deserves more. He's playing better, but he's on too much money already now. Like if he, like I would still be opposed if he will be asking. Like if he can stay and he stays on the same deal, I will still be very doubtful because what happened the previous years, like a few good months, does not worthy, in my opinion, that big of a deal at my club. If anyone else wants to take a shot on a free agent basis, fair enough. But I'm gonna look at it over the course of the years that he played for us. He came in and he hasn't played very well up to this point, like consistently. So you cannot be blinded by the few good months, which are good. But what about the previous years? So I'm not, like how do you want to say that? Like I accepted that he's gonna leave on a free, and I saw a lot of discussions on Twitter yesterday. Are you taking Savic over Rabiot? Yeah, any day of the week, like any day of the week. I know Rabiot is in good form. Savic has been doing like Savic having that kind of form, those numbers, even better numbers, year in, year out. Yeah, one down year, okay, fine, that happens. But he's doing it on a consistent basis. Like, he is what we want Rabiot to be, consistent. So yeah, any day of the week, I will take Savage. You can debate about money, I get that. But if the club comes out and say we can afford Savage, then I'll take Savage any day of the week, because I've seen Rabiot over 4 years, over those years, excuse me. Yeah, over the years. And these 2 months are not gonna make me say, okay, I forget about the previous years. That's it. Invest the 10 million euros on him. I'm not gonna do that. I rather go with the player who I think is consistently good year in, year out. In a Lazio team, I'm gonna say a lot of people have little to no respect for. Maybe this year, but in previous years, the year again with Sarri, yeah, they were competing until they completely collapsed. But like, he's doing it in a Lazio team where the expectations are not that high. He's still dragging them. Like, he is the reason, in my opinion, and Immobile, but he plays a big part of it, that Lazio team is what it is, in my opinion. So I will do it any day of the week if the club comes out and say we can do it. But that's news. I'm gonna wrap it up with Romeo Agressi tweeting out that we are also looking at Joachim Mele. I'm not sure if it is for January. I think I'm assuming it's for January, a short-term solution. I don't think Atalanta's gonna loan him out for a few months. If it's for a long term, I'm gonna say no. I've watched him play many times when he played a few blocks from where I live before he moved to Atalanta. Amazing player, great player. But ever since he joined Atalanta, he didn't really took that step that was expected from him for many different reasons. Playing out of position, playing differently, Atalanta switching things up very often in the last couple of years. I'm gonna say 1.5 year. He's not took those steps ahead. Like, he's a good player, but like long term, no, I want better. We need better. If it's a 6-month loan deal, okay, but like, I'm not, jumping for it. But I think for the long term future, I want something better. Like, I want someone who can we can be looking at and be like, okay, he can be that guy for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever. I don't think Mila is that. I don't think he took that step, and I'm not sure he's able to take that step now. But that's it. That's it for today. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Bonucci situation. And like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you back tomorrow. Ciao, guys.